You know what's weird about AI right now? A lot of people hear MCP and immediately assume it's either some genius level protocol thing they should pretend to understand or another tech acronym that will disappear in 6 months. And honestly, I get it. Model Context Protocol does not sound friendly. It sounds like a phrase invented by 3 engineers and one very tired documentation person. MCP is actually not that hard to understand once you stop explaining it like a robot. So let me make this less confusing. MCP, or Model Context Protocol, is basically a standard way for AI models to connect to tools, data, and outside systems without every company building a weird custom integration from scratch. In simple terms, it works like a universal adapter for AI. The model wants information or an action. MCP gives it a consistent way to ask, and the connected server handles the actual job. That is the core idea. Now I know what you're thinking. Okay, cool, but what does that actually mean in normal human language? So think of it like this. The AI is the brain that knows how to talk. MCP is the agreed format for requesting help, and the tools or servers are the specialists that actually do something useful, like fetch a file, read a database, check an API, or trigger an action. In practice, the framework is usually explained with a client-server structure. You have a host app as the main environment, a client that manages the connection, and one or more MCP servers that expose specific capabilities in a standard way. One server might handle files. Another might handle finance data. Another might connect to a calendar or internal system. The model does not need a completely different custom setup for each one if they all speak MCP. So how does it work procedurally? First, the user asks for something. Then the host app figures out whether the request needs outside context or action. If it does, the model routes that need through the MCP connection to the right server. The server performs the task or returns the data, and then the model uses that result to produce a better answer or complete the workflow. That matters because normal LLMs are great at language, but not automatically great at reaching into the real world in a reliable, structured way. MCP gives them a cleaner bridge to that world. Number one, the concept behind MCP is standardization. Without it, every tool connection can become its own tiny mess of custom code, custom logic, and custom maintenance, which sounds manageable until you have 5 tools, then 15, then 100, and suddenly your AI system is just integration spaghetti wearing a blazer. MCP reduces that chaos by giving models and tools a shared way to communicate. Number 2, the framework of MCP is modular. Instead of one giant system doing everything badly, you can have small focused servers doing one job well, like weather, finance, files, documentation, or search. That modular structure makes systems easier to build, test, and extend because you can add or swap capabilities without rebuilding the whole stack every time.
Number 3.
MCP usually revolves around a few core building blocks. One common explanation breaks them into resources for read-only access, tools for taking actions, and prompts for reusable guidance templates. Which sounds technical, but it's actually pretty practical. Read something, do something, or guide something. That's the basic shape.
Very advanced. Also weirdly normal.
Number 4.
MCP is useful because it separates language from execution. The model can focus on understanding intent and generating responses, while the external server handles the actual connection to files, APIs, databases, or actions. That separation is one reason people describe it as a cleaner architecture for AI workflows, especially when reliability and scale start to matter. Number 5. Security and control are part of the conversation, not an afterthought. Sources describing MCP emphasize explicit authorization, limited permissions, and keeping sensitive operations controlled rather than letting the model roam around like an intern with production access on day one, which is good because autonomous but unsupervised is a very exciting phrase right up until it touches real systems. So if you strip all the jargon away, MCP is really a procedure for giving AI structured access to the outside world. Request comes in, correct toolpath is identified, standardized communication happens, a server does the task, the result comes back, the model uses that result to answer, assist, or act more intelligently. That is why people care about it, not because the acronym is beautiful.
It is not.
MCP is not the intelligence itself. It is the system that helps intelligence connect to the right capabilities in a clean, repeatable way. It is less about making the model smarter in theory, and more about making the model more useful in practice. And that's the difference between an AI that only talks and an AI that can actually work with the world around it.